choo train's laying down its tracks with a poo-choo all the way and back.
Poo-poo train is my favorite thing, spreading Christmas joy as we ride and sing.
Welcome to Jobbed Out, the wrestling editorial that reminds you that sometimes it's better to just hire somebody else to control your narrative. Not too long ago, I was one of the many who absolutely tore Ryback to shreds over his social media game. Since then, things have not really gotten better, but somehow the big guy managed to still get usurped as biggest clown on Twitter thanks to Adam Scherr, formerly known as WWE superstar BRAUN STROWMAN. The former Universal Champ already has a shaky relationship with the internet wrestling fans, largely thanks to a bad take he made in 2020, right at the beginning of the pandemic. AEW wrestler Evil Uno made a plea with fans to support their favorite indie stars at a time when the whole world was shutting down. Strowman's bad take? If you can't pay your bills, you should change professions. Wow, class act, everybody. About a month later, WWE would let go of hundreds of their staff, including dozens of wrestlers being fired or furloughed. Then, still a poo-choo train.
Clear the tracks!
Here we go!
We're gonna need a bigger boat!
Oh, what's out here in front of us?
What kind of boat do you know that operates on tracks, Burke?
Braun doubled down on his message by trying to explain how he also at one point was broke and had to work his way up, of course ignoring the fact that he was scouted at a professional strongman competition and then paid to train at WWE's Performance Center, basically skipping that whole part where wrestlers travel out of pocket for years honing their craft and busting their asses for sometimes $20 a night, because, of course, that doesn't suit his narrative. Anyway, Strowman would later be one of those WWE superstars who would lose his job due to budget cuts. Using his real name, Adam Scherr joined forces with EC3 to create Control Your Narrative, a pro wrestling company meant to give power back to its wrestlers. No billionaires or TV networks making the decisions. But things have not gone well. Mainly because Control Your Narrative declared right off the hop that a network TV deal was imminent, and that network TV deal turned out to be with Pro Wrestling TV, which is not on a network. In fact, it's not even part of TV packages. It's a mobile app, and not a particularly great one. You can mostly find podcasts and interviews on it, and if you want to see wrestling, you've got to sign up. So, not network and not TV. In a lot of cases, not pro wrestling. Rather than be humble and encourage fans to give CYN a chance, Scherr's approach has been to triple down on the trolling, at one point trying to say that Ring of Honor and All Elite Wrestling owner Tony Khan had blackballed his performers from working CYN shows, which is not what blackballing means, but sure. He would then go on to say "nuh-uh" in a response to his own post. This was just in the last week, and somehow that's not even the most embarrassing thing Adam Scherr would do on Twitter. Something you need to be successful on social media is knowledge of current trends, fads, commonly used slang. In a question from a fan regarding his opinion of the transgender community, Scherr gave an answer that you would expect from, well, an actual decent human being, stating, "Do what makes you happy as long as you aren't taking away someone else's happiness. I like it. Live and let live. Nice." And his fans actually commended him for it, one of which stated, "CYN is so based. Thank you, Adam Scherr." Now, usually I'm pretty behind in slang. I remember in college actually once asking the difference between turnt and lit, but I digress. Scherr immediately responded to this happy fan's praise with, "Yeah, I based on your mom's back last night." Alrighty then. Now, for those not in the know, based, which is short for based in reality or based in fact, when used means someone is complimenting you for being courageous enough to say a controversial or unpopular truth. Scherr clearly did not know this. You'd think he just misread it as biased, but then he used the properly spelled word in his insult back to the fan. Anyway, Twitter jumped all over him to tell him that he was receiving a compliment, and of course, Adam Scherr apologized and thanked the fans. I'm just kidding. He quadrupled down and told them off. And this is why celebrities often hire a manager to run their social media accounts.
But wait! There's more!
That's right, folks. The Titan of Twitter is not done. In between taking shots at wrestling fans, cause, they're what's wrong with the wrestling industry. On a side note, I've always hated that notion. I remember working a show up in 2003 in Gibbons, Alberta, and the guy who was to be the promotion's top face was complaining about fans and marks being what's wrong with the business. Wrestling is the only business that blames the people who buy its tickets and watch its shows for the failure of their shows. Only one. Nobody else is that stupid. Just wrestling. Anyway, in between being a dick to those same people he's supposed to be trying to get to watch CYN, he took a break to go after WCW star Buff Bagwell. Bagwell made a joke about joining the company. It's not an internet breaker, it's not even really that funny, but to each their own. Scherr responded by calling Bagwell out. Not by saying that Bagwell isn't good enough for their company, but by going after Bagwell's legal history, including DUI issues. Buff, very rightly I should point out, reminded the pot about calling the kettle black. So how was Adam Scherr going to retort? Would he make it about how evil the fans are? Would he quintuple down? Actually, he apologized. Kinda. I came at you too hard. I went for the kill and shouldn't have. I understand you didn't know I was part of CYN, but imagine you being one of the boys taking shots at a place giving work to other wrestlers. Now hold on. So Adam Scherr thinks Buff Bagwell took a jab at a piss-poor new promotion because he didn't know that Adam Scherr was a part of it? In what universe does that change a damn thing? Bagwell took a shot at Control Your Narrative because they fumbled every step of the way. I didn't even talk about their rules and regulations. The idea that a mobile app with a web player is somehow network television was enough to destroy what should have had fans pumped. To insist that a company that isn't talking about you would consider you a threat when you haven't even got a YouTube channel that competes with Jobbed Out yet, and the very idea that you want people to watch your shows and then continuously crap on those same people who you need to have as your audience. I'm convinced Adam Scherr thinks he's a master troll, but Twitter doesn't pay your bills. YouTube does. Seriously. His actions have in no way made me magically interested in checking out Control Your Narrative. It's a shame, they do have people under contract that I like watching in the ring. But at best, this is a Hulk Hogan school of promotion, where somehow Scherr thinks talking about himself instead of the product would be good for the product. The reality is, he's just really bad at social media and doesn't understand that not all attention is good attention. Good luck, buddy. I'm just gonna keep watching AEW, House of Glory, and promotions local to me like Monster Pro, because that's how I control my narrative. Now, with all that said and done, I gotta ask you, what do you think about the former Braun Strowman and his social media meltdown? Is he making a Ryback-level ass of himself, or is he just playing us all like a fiddle? Is this a case of all news is good news, or is he doing more harm than good and ensuring people lose interest? And how should Control Your Narrative approach this whole thing? Should they look at it as eyes on one of their bigger stars, or just a giant distraction from their message? Let me know what you think in the comments, or be sure to subscribe to the channel for more, because I want you to be a part of this conversation too. For now though, I better get my shoulders off the mat, so I want to thank you for tuning in to Jobbed Out. I'll catch you next time.